Well, it's springtime now. Everybody's propagating plants, and I've seen this question come up a lot lately. So I thought I'd answer it once and for all so that you guys can propagate some beautiful plants like we've got right in this little area here. Isn't that cool? Check this out, guys. That's that little Col de Dame Noir that I started last year, I think as an air layer. Isn't she beautiful? I love the leaf pattern on this specific fig. So everybody keeps asking, what is the material that I used when I was propagating last year? They saw me doing cuttings in sand, but it looks dark and it looks like I was mixing in some other type of material. Well, I addressed that entire issue in another video, and if you type in my name, Mike Kincaid, in sand, it will show up, or I'll just put a link in the description down below. You can check it out right now. So when it all boils down, there's 3 criteria that I've come up with that you want to use when you're picking out a good rooting material. And those criteria are: 1, it's got to drain well. You don't want standing water sitting around your rooting medium. You'll rot your cuttings right out. Number 2, you want something that's going to hold a little moisture. Now, if you follow number 1 and you've got something that drains well, just about anything will also hold moisture because it's got moisture around all of the little spaces and the granules or the bark or whatever you're using. So number 1 and 2 kind of work together. But don't forget number 1. It's got to hold moisture, but you want it to drain well. You don't want standing water. And number 3, the final criteria that I like to use when picking out a good solid rooting material, and that is, it's got to be inert. What does that mean? Let's talk about it for a second. So this morning I saw somebody ask a question on our Facebook group in I Love Plant Propagation, and they posted my video about sand in there. And they said, you know, his sand looks really dark. Now I made that video about it and explained that it's nothing but pure sand. But it's still, people are getting stumped by this. They think I'm mixing something into it. I am not mixing anything into it, I promise you. And I've been seeing this question more and more lately, so I thought we got to answer this thing and let you guys know. You do not want to mix anything into your sand unless it's another inert material. And inert just simply means it doesn't have any life in it. So you don't want to add a material like a compost or a potting soil that has all kinds of, fertilizers in it that are going to provide nutrition for fungus and molds and bacteria, because those little cuttings haven't quite rooted yet, and until they root, they're susceptible to all those things. And if you have a nutritious material like compost, or even a composted cow manure or chicken manure, or something with a lot of organic matter. When I say organic, I don't mean pesticide free or chemical free. I mean organic matter, like bark or something that was alive at one time. Even the bark that I use here is inert. This is pretty fresh. If you look at this, none of this is composted. It's just fresh, inert material that has absolutely no nutrition in it. And I think people get hung up there. They think they need to start off with nutrition in their plants, but they don't. It's the same with those sand videos. It's dark because it's wet. I put some water on top, it looks dark. Looks like I might have mixed something in, but for rooted cuttings, you want inert material. You do not want nutritious material. Once they've rooted, then you can pot them up into any potting soil. Now I want to explain one other thing here about seeds in just a second, but first I also want to direct your attention to that sand. Just like this bark is inert, that sand is inert. Other things that are inert is vermiculite, or perlite, or some people use coco coir. There are a lot of different inert materials. I think you could probably go to a store and buy a bag of beads, necklace beads, and probably root something in that. It's just an inert substance, only there to simply hold the cutting in place. That's it. So why do I use bark as a material so much? I've talked about it a lot. I use bark a lot as a rooting medium because it's such a good medium for these rhododendrons. These rhododendrons love to grow in bark. I started out with sand in the beginning, but what I noticed was when I would go to up pot these rhododendrons in the sand, or from the sand to the bark, the sand would just fall out of the roots, and I'd be like starting over trying to replant these things all the time, and it would just disturb the roots too much and make it so that they just didn't get as good of a start and take off like I wanted them to. The other reason I chose the bark is because it's readily available in my area. So if you live in Arizona, don't go to Home Depot and look for bags of shredded bark or fine fir bark. You're probably not going to find it. If you do find something similar, it's going to be more of a coarse mulch. Just find something that works for you guys in your area. And like I've said many times before, if you can't find anything else, just go after sand, because sand is everywhere in this world and everybody has access to it. Let's talk about that real quick. Two things about sand. First of all, it doesn't matter what type of sand. The only sand I would stay away from, really the only sand, is a really fine sand that's used in pool filters, because it's so fine that it likes to hold on to water too long and just kind of waterlog those little cuttings. Just about any other sand will work. Playground sand that you can buy in a bag. You can go to landscape supply businesses and they usually sell sand to builders. Just about any kind of sand. Go to the beach and get sand if you need to. And now people get, a little uptight about that because they say, well, at the ocean, it's salt water in that sand, and so you're going to kill your cuttings. No, just get a bag of sand or get a 5-gallon bucket of sand and rinse it thoroughly with fresh water first. That's all. Just rinse the salt out. It'll work perfect for you. The only other reason I steered away from sand, it's heavy, man. And if you've got big frames full of it, it's a lot of work bringing it into your place. Now, I do want to address one more issue. I said I was going to address this, and that has everything to do with seeds. God, dog, that really drives me nuts every time I flip that up and look at it and see the mice destruction. People ask me all the time, what kind of a rooting medium do I need for my Japanese maple seeds or any other seeds that are trying to germinate? And the answer is, you can use any potting soil. You don't have to make sure it's inert. It could be potting soil, it could be compost, it could be anything with all the nutrition and fertilizers already in it, if that's what you choose. In fact, you probably don't want an inert material like sand or fine fir bark that's fresh or anything like that, because those little seeds are already equipped with everything they need to put down a taproot, put up some top growth, and start growing. They're immediately seeking out nutrition. So seeds are different. Use whatever potting soil you've got on hand and you guys will be successful with them. So I hope that clears things up for some of you guys who are really concerned about what exactly to use. Follow those 3 criteria that I've come up with over the years. It drains well, it holds a little moisture, and it's relatively inert. There's nothing sterile about the bark. There's nothing sterile about the sand. The world is full of bacteria and fungi, but you want something inert that's not composted or broken down too much yet. And you're going to be just fine, guys. Just look for those 3 criteria and it'll work out. Find something local in your area that is readily available, a byproduct of some industry in your area. Just like here, there's lots of logging in my area, and the byproduct is bark, and people use it for mulch, and they've got all kinds of different sizes of bark to put on your landscape beds. That's how I found it in this area. Find what works for you in your area. You guys are going to be successful. Don't get hung up on the bark. So I hope you guys learned something from this one. If you did, hit the like button. It helps the channel out. Subscribe if you want to follow along and see more fantastic gardening videos. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.